row. Great to see the Jesus Falcon having a great weekend out there in Cunnamanai. Jim Richards joins Mark King, this morning's race winner, alongside Adam Bressington, Bruce Williams, Tony Karafalowski and Cam Tilley, starting down there in position number 10. And Jim Pollicino, who had a strong run earlier today.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration in that team. They felt like that was a race that Jim could have won. He was certainly in the position, but just got the old short back and sides at around this point in the racetrack towards the end of the trophy race earlier on this morning. So unfortunately couldn't bring it home for a race victory. That went the way of Mark King, his third in Touring Car Masters and his first since 2014. Great to welcome this guy back. Jim Richards, one of the great legends of our sport, a Hall of Famer, was inducted with our colleague Mark Skaife a couple of years ago. Multiple Australian Touring Car and Supercar champion, Bathurst winner, and a two-time champion in this category, holds a lot of records. And that very famous Shannon's Insurance Falcon Sprint with 302 cubic inch Ford V8 power under the bonnet. Really good performance from Jimmy in qualifying yesterday. Put that car on the third row of the grid. Also on board cameras with Jason Gomersall, the Big Mate Racing Torana A9X. He goes from third. He's still got the practice lap record here for Touring Car Masters cars in that A9X. Was really happy with the way that car performed in qualifying and how he's driving it. So watch out for the big Torana to go with the two leaders, the famous leaders that lock out the front row.
So as it's been for so many times in their short little stoush in the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters, Johnson and Bow to start from the front row. It's a rolling start for 17 cars and 10 laps around Hidden Valley Raceway here in Darwin. It's a great race to kick off this morning, the Shannon's Thunder in the Valley. This time, there's points on the line. The revs rise. We're on board with the 35 of Gomersall. Here comes the green flag, and we're underway in race number 2 of the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters. A great start from Johnson. Look at the big yellow Camaro down the inside with nowhere to go. Jim Richards protecting the line as they fan out down into turn number 1 for the first time.
Mark King was trying to do what he did earlier today. Contact, Bow spun. Gomersall was going down the inside and big impact there. Adam Bressington has got the front of the Wilson Security Pace Torana. There's big damage for JB. The 5-time TCM champion will be walking wounded in this. Cameron Tilley was involved as well. So Gomersall was going down the inside, locked the brake. The car spun in front. Have to check some replays to see where the damage was and what tipped him into that incident. Big damage to the front of JB. Hopefully that continues. Needs championship points in this one.
It's the rear guard that we're worried about more so. I looked at Andrew Fisher's car as well. It looked a bit suspect on the front right, but this now gives Johnson a mammoth lead on the first lap. It's 1.6 seconds back to Gomersall. Williams is now third, having a real weekend down that AC Delco Torana. There's Bressington up there as well, and a bit of smoke from the Woodward car for a split second there.
There's a lot of people with damage. Jim Pollicino's copped a hit on the front right corner. So too has Cameron Mason in car number 3, middle of shot, heading onto the straight now, the Shelby Mustang. So he's got some damage. He gets a good run on that Woodward Camaro. So Johnson, Gomersall, Williams 1, 2 and 3. Great start, Bruce Williams, to avoid the chaos down there and get the AC Delco Torana up into the top 3.
Leo Tobin with Cam Mason with a bit of smoke out the right side of car 3, the Nova Castriot, and that Leo Tobin. No, it wasn't. It was Pollicino. And now there must be an issue with that 9. It looked weird going into turn number 1. Now Woodward is up to 6th position with Pollicino and Mason. Then Dunn in the back of that group as well.
Mark King was trying to replicate the way he won the trophy race earlier today by just sending it around the outside at turn 1 on the start. It worked for him in that race. It didn't work this time, and I wonder if that was a contributing factor to everything that went on. We need to break it down. We'll do that for you as the race goes on. At the moment, it's a 1.5 second margin for the number 17 Mustang that leads the race.
Replay at the start. It was okay here. That's when we got to turn number 1. They fanned out at the 5th row. We also had some 4-wide action. Now, where does this all start? You're looking at the red Falcon in the middle of the shot. This will be a bit more telling from the front on shot here, and that was the 95 of Bressington being pushed right out towards the wall.
So look right of screen, just watch for the car in behind Johnson. So there's Gomersall. Across comes Fisher. So they're wheel to wheel. Oh, so Fisher across into the front of Gomersall. Andrew, I don't know how to call that. Honestly don't know. This will explain it better. So they're wheel to wheel. Under brakes, Gomersall's going down the inside, Fisher across. So Gomersall with nowhere to go there, up on the curb. The resulting contact put the Jesus Racing Falcon into John Bow and spun it. Oh, this is the best shot of the lot. Bump, bump, bump. And, wait for it, crunch.
Mark King just punching the lights out on the front of the Tirana. Put into the back of the field now in 15th position. Here's the view. Going to turn number 1. And sometimes you just get lucky in those kind of incidents.
It was that, so not a scratch on the Shannon's Insurance Falcon. Fortunately, it looks like the smoke's starting to disappear off the back of John Bowers' car, so just wearing away the bodywork that's broken off. He's down in 15th place, though. And it's the same scenario, but on the front of Newcastle's own Cameron Mason, who's running a very stout 7th place with some big overnight repairs on Team Mason Motorsport Ford Mustang with a rebuilt rear axle to get into that car. Down the inside, Bracington. That's P3 away now from Bruce Williams. So that's a nice move. So I think I called it incorrectly at the start, Matt, that it was Bracington that made contact with Bow. It was actually Mark King who's involved in this exciting little battle pack. He's got Leo Tobin in front. There's a dozen cars all locked together here.
Ben Dunn in the Chevy Monza. The smoke still hasn't cleared from the 99 car. In fact, he's slowing up now, letting Bow move up another position. There's Fisher, who's 11th. And Bow with a bit of work for the Wilson security team to do tonight.
Fortunately, it's the last race of the day, and this race is not till tomorrow, so they've got some time. Panel damage as well for Andrew Fisher. So this is the fight. It's basically 7th place all the way down to 16th with Alan Bougen at the back of it. So it's the remainder of the field behind the leaders. It's an awesome scrap. Mason's cleared Woodward. He's up to 6th place and driving away. And that's the damage on Bowers' car. Hoping that it hasn't done too much damage to either of those left-hand side tyres on that car. It might not have cut a tyre. Hopefully it hasn't and it can survive the race and he can get a few more positions back. He's already back up to 12th. So that car will keep improving. He'll be learning how to drive it now. He'll be handing differently. It's probably got broken steering as well. Andrew Fisher's got a little bit of extra aero on the front of the GTHO. He's got the left front wing just popping out under load when the car's got some air running through it and the run down into turn 1.
Hot battle pack, isn't it? Well, I've seen it now. And I think Ben Dunn slowed in the background of the shot. A lot of smoke out the back. I think he might be coming to a stop. There's big flames from underneath the Balmain Coffee Company entry.
So they had an oil leak in the race earlier on today, and this is a very similar situation because we had reports of fire from that car as well. So the oil dropping onto the exhaust. He'd want to keep that rolling, actually, because if it stands still and it actually catches fire, it'd be a drama. And speaking of catching fire,
it's on.
Big, and off goes Fisher.
That had been brewing for a while, that whole group. And Fisher, who was already nursing some damage with the big Falcon.
Well, I think Policina's thing's exploded. That's let go. There was an enormous plume of smoke from underneath. And I can't help but think, Matt, that perhaps there was some radiator damage to that car and it's cooked itself.
Yeah. And now Dunn has stopped the car just in front of the speedway here at Hidden Valley Raceway. He's trying to keep it off the grass so it doesn't start a grass fire as well. And will this bring out the safety car? Meantime, Mark King and Leo Tobin battle for 8th and 9th on the circuit now as we're working laps 6 and 10 in the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters here at Hidden Valley. And so much damage. I think your call's right. Look at the front.
Look at the oil.
Wow.
Ignore the damage for a moment. That's had an enormous detonation. It's covered in oil. Whether it's from that car or it might be from one of the other ones, it's got some war scars from this race. Lap 6 and 10, we've gone safety car as well.
Now, was he around the group with Ben Dunn at that time? Because look at the oil stains on the top of the Paynter-Dixon side. He climbs out. Policina, that is.
Ben was behind them, but I'm wondering if Andrew Fisher's come off on the oil from that. And there's Ben Dunn, who doesn't look particularly happy either. I spoke to Ben yesterday. He was saying they're just taking their time coming to grips with the Chevy Monza. So the Monza's let go at turn 1, and that's dumping oil onto the exhaust, and that's what's causing the fire that you see underneath car number 99. Former V8 Ute racer, who's followed his mate Andrew Fisher into the series. That's a really good look at where it's just dumping onto the exhaust and catching there. Wow. So that's reasonably dramatic. Yeah, wonder why this place catches fire so often. It's so dry here in the dry season. That's why. And then this was a little bit further up. So Karen Filosky sliding around, that's had an enormous explosion. And I think Andrew Fisher's just come off on the oil that was laid further back. So he's got oil all over his tyres. He was trying to turn into turn 7. The thing's just understeered off the road. I don't think there were any fisticuffs per se there.
Not at all.
Yep.
And it's Fisher's car back in the pits now for the traditional and old school Jacks in the pits. The Vodafone safety car is out on the circuit with Johnson. He had a big margin to that point as well. It comes back to 0. Gomersall running in second, that big mate Tirana. Adam Bressington is third. Bruce Williams in fourth. A great weekend for the Tirana team. Jim Richards running in fifth. He was running on his own there. He had about 2 seconds to the guys in front, about 3 seconds behind to Cameron Mason. Then it's Woodward, King, Bow, and Leo Tobin, position number 10.
It's going on and off the track at the moment. Tony Karamfilosky pulled into the pits. He's parked it because the car was overheating, so they're protecting that engine.
Thanks, Cam. He wasn't the only one. A few people complaining about that. I spoke to Adam Bressington just before the start of the race, and he was a little bit concerned with their temperatures at the end of the trophy race earlier today. So Ben Dunn gets pulled out of harm's way behind the wall on the run into turn 5. Andrew Fisher has rejoined the circuit, so he'll get to the back of the queue behind that Vodafone safety car. And it's Stephen Johnson who leads the way and will take a clear lead in the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters Championship in the defence of the title that he so brilliantly won last year in the final round at Newcastle.
To me, I've only called a couple of rounds of this with you this year. The intensity is so much more than what it was at Adelaide.
Feisty, isn't it?
Oh, man. I mean, they are racing every race here now like it is the last race of the year. It's incredible. But we love it. Not complaining for 1 second about it. Neither are the fans here that are packed in the Hidden Valley.
Only round 4 of 8.
I know.
There's a fair bit of racing to go under the bridge yet.
Townsville coming up for the next round. They've been lobbied for so many years. There was a petition going around town for so long to get them to Townsville. They're coming up there for the next round of the Watpac Townsville 400 in July. If you're down south and freezing in the conditions, get on a Virgin Australia flight and come up for that one. It's always a cracker.
And these cars on street circuits tend to be particularly exciting. Racing at the Adelaide 500 is always sensational. The final round of the championship last year in Newcastle was awesome. So we're really looking forward to Touring Car Masters taking to North Queensland for the first time. A lot of Queenslanders in this field. A bunch of them in the top of the grid at the moment, Johnson and Gomersall amongst them. So they're all looking forward to having a race on home turf in front of their fellow Queenslanders. And that's a pretty full-on looking Holden Tirana limping back. Jim's got his HQ GTS 350 Monaro in the truck here this weekend, I'm told. So there's a chance he might just swap into that car for tomorrow, Cameron.
Another update, I've been running up and down the lane at the moment. Andrew Fisher was caught up in the oil, as you guys suspected, and unfortunately when he went off track actually blew a tyre. So we had to come in and get it changed as well, but he's back out on track.
After qualifying so well, 4th position today, got his first top 3 result of the season. It's gone backwards. The Jesus All About Life team, there he is. Car number 9, started at the back of this group of cars. Tony Karamfilosky has parked it up for today. Just trying to keep an eye on these engine temperatures. Much warmer conditions than what we had yesterday during practice and qualifying.
And the irony of this is that they'll want to be racing to get those temperatures down. And even though they generate more temperature in the engine and all the ancillaries when they're going at full speed, you're also ramming more air in through the intakes as well. So rolling around at 60 k's an hour behind the Vodafone safety car, these cars will be cooking 31-degree heat here in the top end. I don't want to sound like we're complaining about it because it's great, but they will be a little bit concerned. And there is Tony Karamfilosky, the Sydney-sider, vastly experienced in this category, a multiple race winner in his own right. And the lights are out on the Vodafone safety car. There'll be 2 laps to go as we get ready for a double file restart.
So back into the rows of 2. 2 laps to go. And now Gomersall has his best shot at Johnson. He got given a free kick really at the start when it all kicked off. Down at turn number 1 at the start of the race. The Mustang and the Tirana. We go back to Bressington, the second of the Tiranas in Bruce Williams. And now we get set. The Vodafone Porsche safety car heads back into pit lane. And the charge of the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters. All 1.1 kilometres from the top to the bottom. The green flag is about to wave. Who will win the charge? This could decide the motor race.
Wheel spin from Bressington. Struggled to put 700 horsepower to the ground in the VDC Camaro. Would have about Gomersall on the outside. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get hung out to dry here. And that's what happens as Bressington goes through and gets second place away, and Bruce Williams wants third. It's a battle of the Tiranas now. Just runs him out over that new concrete apron on the outside of turn 1, and he drops from second to fourth. So that restart did not help the cause for the Big Mate Racing driver. Worked out brilliantly for Bressington and for Bruce Williams.
So puts Bressington to second, Williams in third, and Gomersall to fourth. Richard still holding down fifth. And Ian Woodward, who was in the gravel at turn 10, runs in sixth. Here it is, the big comet of Alan Bowden, with Cam Tilley dropping down the hill in turn number 7.
It's going to go and get my helicopter to land on the boot of that car.
Should have an H on there, shouldn't it?
It's remarkable. He's having a good weekend. That car's been hooked up. He's been much quicker than he was here 12 months ago. A lot of development work going into this car. Brand new engine. Still the same sideways driving style, though, it must be said.
It's the only way to drive it.
Magical. We're about to start the final lap. Stephen Johnson and Adam Bressington 1 and 2. Really good comeback drive here for Bresso to work his way up the order. Didn't qualify well, was not pleased with the way that car was performing. And it's got better and better, and he's worked his way up into P2, which for his championship matters well. Remember, we spoke yesterday about that incredible fight for third through sixth, covered by less than 60 points in the TCM standings. So for Adam Bressington, who fought for the title outright last year, this is a very important race.
So there's Fisher and Bowden. They're running at the back of the field. Here's the leaders coming out of turn 5. So Johnson started from pole position, has been untouched, even with the Vodafone safety car period during the race. Will lead us downhill into turn number 7. Tiranas locking out third and fourth at this particular point, as Johnson set sail for turn 10. It's been a tricky point across all the categories here at the CrownBet Darwin Triple Crown. Gomersall on target for another strong result for Matt Stone Racing. Oh, Bowden, it's not Sunday. He's already started a day early down on the run out of turn 6. We'll come back to that soon as Johnson comes out the final turn and will take the checkered flag in race 2 of the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters.
7th win of the season, clear championship leader, title defence on track. Damage limitation for the former series leader John Bowe, who finished 7th with a lot of damage to the Wilson Security Pace Holden Tirana. Dick Johnson watching on from the confines of Shell V-Power Racing. So plenty of action and entertainment in that one. This is a look at Alan Bowden. So 12 months ago, almost the same thing exactly happened. Same corner, same car, and same burnout. Same cheers from the Territory crowd. They love it.
He's a maniac, isn't he? Doesn't matter where he finishes, that car is the crowd pleaser in the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters. But Stephen Johnson, to the hearty applause of this great Darwin crowd, picks up another win from pole position here today in the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters. Just under half a second back to Adam Bressington, Jason Gomersall, Bruce Williams, and Jimmy Richards, your top 5.
Great drive from Ian Woodward, Matt, to finish 6th in front of John Bowe, who we talked about. Mark King recovered to 8th. Cameron Mason, great drive in the Mustang to 9th. And Cam Tilley, after being off the road at turn 1, lap 1, battled into the top 10.
Over to Page Leo Tobin, Alan Bowden with probably new